I'm a pasty white man and I burn very easily. And just like me,
Too much sun causes avocado trees to get sunburned.
and so it's important to use sun protection. I'm gonna go back under my umbrella now. It's very warm out here.
Yes, too much sun, too much UV, can actually damage plants and cause them to sunburn. It's a slightly different process to how we get sunburn, but it is a burn caused by the sun nonetheless. Obviously, plants use photosynthesis to get energy from sunlight, but too much of it can be a problem. Recently, only in the last decade or so, we discovered that plants produce a protein called UVR8, which they use as a form of sun protection. It allows them to absorb more UV light instead of letting it burn them. Now, plants produce different quantities of this depending on the species of plant, and sometimes they can produce more if they're exposed to more light. So where do avocado trees come in with this? In their natural habitat, avocados grow in groves, and so there'll be a big cluster of trees which are able to provide each other shelter from the wind and from getting too much sun. So if we leave an avocado tree in too much daylight without that extra protection of having other trees around or having something to shade it, they are going to get burned in the hottest parts of summer. I live in Melbourne, Australia, and where I've got these young trees, it's essentially in full sun. And so, as a result of that, as we've got longer days, as our UV has been very, very high, they have gotten sunburn. And sunburn appears as discoloring usually in the middle of a leaf. You'll often see avocado leaves discoloring from the edges, and that is caused generally by improper watering, and I've got a video about that. But when it's happening in the middle and it's been in full sun all day, it's likely sunburn. It might just look like yellowing on the leaves, but it will turn to brown if the sunburn is allowed to continue. And it doesn't just affect the leaves either. It can also burn green wood. So if it's a especially young tree or if it's got some young growth on it, it's also fairly susceptible to sunburn. And this is a problem because sunburnt tissue, plant tissue, will die. Plants can't heal leaves, the leaf will just die. So it's certainly within our interest to keep our trees alive and healthy and not get too much sun. Keep in mind, I'm talking about outside trees today. When you're dealing with light that is indoors, generally it's a lot softer than we are dealing with outside, but keep in mind for these signs. But what can we do about this problem? It's actually fairly easy. So as a general rule of thumb, I like to keep my avocado trees in full morning sun and then in shade in the afternoon. And again, I'm talking about outside avocados. Just like how I might like to seek shelter of a beach umbrella during the hottest parts of the day. Here at sunny Melbourne, Australia, we get fairly hot afternoons and the UV is generally pretty high well into the evening, and so having some afternoon shade is going to help protect them from sunburn. What can you do to give them shade? It could be under a tree or near a tree, it could be near a fence or a wall, so long as you're keeping an eye on your yard or wherever you're keeping them so that they have afternoon shade. Also making sure that they are well watered in the summer months. You know, I've made lots of videos about how to prevent root rot during the hottest parts of the summer. Obviously keep an eye on your moisture levels in the soil, but avocado trees in hot summer will be transpiring heaps of water to keep water throughout their system, and so they're going to be going through a lot of water. Dehydrated trees are going to burn much easier, so it's going to be really important to be keeping them hydrated enough. And of course, I'm talking from a position of being in Melbourne, Australia, where we get temperatures of above 35 degrees Celsius pretty regularly during the summer. It might be different depending on where you live. So I'm going to move these trees now to be against a wall. Now I actually have a bunch of avocado trees growing there already. I left these ones here in the winter time because in the winter, this is not as important. They can handle a lot more sunlight in winter, especially when it's cooler. The UV isn't as high, so it's not so much of an issue, but I just never got around to moving them, which is my fault. So I'm going to put them with the rest of my avocado trees and they're going to be much happier there. They're in position now. This wall is going to give them protection from the sun. It's actually about 4 o'clock in the afternoon now, and the sun is well behind that way. Because it's so overcast, it's a bit hard to see. It's not casting a shadow at the moment so much, but I am facing away from where the sun is. The sun will rise behind where the camera is, and it'll go over the sky like that, which around midday, it's going to be getting shade. So we'll still get that morning sun, and trees generally need quite a bit of light, and avocados are no different, but they're going to be sheltered in the afternoon, which is going to be great for them. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on these trees. I'll take off any dead leaves because it doesn't need to be carrying that damage, and we'll be making sure that they are well watered and fertilized during these growing season months. I really hope that watching this video has helped you feel more equipped to caring for your avocado trees. It's really easy to move a tree if it's in a pot like I have here, but when planting it in the ground, it's important to consider these things, especially when it's still young. They're much more hardy once they're a bit older, but young trees especially need a fair bit of shade in the afternoon. And that can be provided by a fence, part of your house, or another older, more established tree. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you have enjoyed it and you found it helpful, that it gave you the information that you need to protect your avocado trees from sunburn in the summertime. If you enjoyed it, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure you're subscribed to Scott Grows an Avocado Tree for more avocado growing content. I'm also on Instagram at Scott Grows an Avocado Tree. Thanks once again for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Scott grows an avocado tree. Scott grows an avocado tree. Scott grows an avocado tree. Scott grows an avocado tree.